Hello guys, welcome to United Stand. It's my fan vlog, my match reaction vlog. Watford 4, Manchester United 1. And do you know what, at this point guys, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed. But my aggression isn't like coming out of me now because it's expected. And it's so frustrating because when we're on the fan forum, I was saying to the guys, like, let's just get through Watford and then we'll worry about Chelsea and Arsenal. Hopefully Watford will be a time where it can pick up some points and we can kind of get some positivity back. But today, watching that Watford game, at times I wanted to turn it off. I really wanted to turn it off. But at the end of the day, I'm a Manchester United fan and I'm going to support them no matter what. And I was still hoping we could turn it around. Even when Donny came on and we got that goal, I was still wanting us to turn it around and win. And I've got City fans messaging me saying, God, it's a sad day today. Ollie's finally going to get sacked. And the reality is, rival fans and people who don't support Manchester United hoping we come back in that Watford game and hoping we end up winning it just so Ollie stays in the job, because that's how bad of a manager he's rated. Because everyone on the outside knows if we get a proper manager in that team with the players we've got, we could be competition. We could compete with the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Man Cities. And do you know what? I'm not even talking about them now, because looking at our form, it's relegation form. It is relegation form. What is it? 4 points in 21? That is relegation. And so we're talking about competing with the top teams. We're now trying to compete with the Leicesters, the West Hams, the Arsenals. And you know what? You can't even banter them anymore. You can't even banter Arsenal because we are absolutely terrible. And do you know what? If we had a squad that wasn't good enough, if we had a squad that hadn't bought Ronaldo, that hadn't bought Bruno Fernandes, that hadn't bought Maguire for 80 million, a centre-half 80 million, I'd make excuses for the defence. I make excuses for the striking role. I used to make excuses because of the CDM role, but there's absolutely no excuses to go out and perform like this week in, week out. I tweeted about it before. How long is this going to go on? How long are we just going to accept that Manchester United play terribly against near enough every single team in the league? And you know what? You look at Aston Villa. Their manager got sacked. Their only win was against Manchester United. Spurs manager got sacked because he lost against Manchester United. We're not seen as any threat. You're expected to go there and win. Watford today turned up. They knew they could do it. They knew they could go and turn us over. You could tell by the way they were playing. They were playing much more positive, much more aggressively, while we sit there passively, reactive. Midfield. Spoke about it many, many times. Midfield is the most important position on the pitch. It brings your defence through to your attack. It glues the team together. The game is lost and won in the midfield. We've gone over this millions and millions of times. And then I'll look at the starting lineup and I think, do you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to wait. Matic and McTominay. Matic, who I've been crying out to play there, but he needs to play there with someone quick and someone with good agility, someone that's going to get around the pitch very quick and help him out. And McTominay has not played for Scotland for 2 weeks, is it? Because he's been out with illness. We thought he couldn't play a few months ago because of an operation. He was back quickly then. I'm not saying this because I want McTominay to be out because he's ill, because he's injured. I'm just thinking, how quick is Ollie rushing these players back? It's like he's thinking McTominay is going to come and be an Iniesta in the middle of the park. Fair enough, if it was that. Even then, you shouldn't be risking a player's health, a player's injury record. But he's bringing him back like he's the heart and soul of Manchester United, and we can't win without him. Today would be a perfect opportunity to start Donny and kind of get some positivity in that team. Start players who need to be given a chance, because a lot of them players there today, I blame Ollie for the tactics and for the way he set up the team, because that was terrible, and we'll move on to that in a minute. But a lot of them players look so passive. The thing is, though, which is hard for me to watch, they look so annoyed when they concede. But it's like, how can you be annoyed when you've played the game in that way? You've got the defence sat on De Gea while Ismail Assar is shooting from outside the box with absolutely no one trying to close him down. You've got crosses across the floor, I've noticed we've got terrible problems with, because no one's alert and no one's absolutely focused. We look like we're in daydreams, look like we're in no man's land. The players look like they're not really focused on what's going on. But then afterwards, when it happens, they're like, oh God, looking at everyone, blaming each other and thinking, how's that happened? It's happened because you're slow, you're lackluster, you're not quick enough to close down. And you know what all of this is? It's not being well drilled. They haven't got the mentality, if I don't close this person down right this second, that's it. And you need that in that team. You need someone to come on and give absolutely everything. And I don't know if it's because low-key they've lost a little bit of... They've lost that belief in Solskjaer, or I don't know whether it's because they genuinely need to be well drilled and they need it drilled into their heads and they need much more intense training sessions. Because Ollie comes out in his press conference. We've had many training sessions this week. We worked on a lot. We know what we need to do. You're going to see reaction, same old every week. And naively, a lot of people will believe that. They believe, oh, we're going to see a reaction. But what makes me question is when you're on that poor form in the league, on an international break, you decide to give the players a week off and give yourself a week off. When I would understand if we're on a great run of form. But even then, I wouldn't really understand. You're midway through a season. You need to kind of keep the momentum going. But fair enough if we were top of the league. We're struggling. His job is on the line. The form is terrible. The players look lost. And he thinks, you know what, we'll skip a few training sessions. A lot of the first team were back and a lot of the squad were back. And it was their chance to prove to Ollie that they could go out and put a performance in against Watford. No disrespect to Watford because they played us off the park. But a lot of our squad players, if they were coached properly, could go out and beat Watford today. It was Ollie's chance to do that and kind of put some players in the place. Maguire, I said, should not be starting after he's giving it all this for England. Like, he's given it all that and then he goes and gets himself sent off. He's complacent. Other players that I don't think has been good enough need to be dropped. Many of the players, the midfield, I think need to be dropped. I don't think Rashford's been quite good enough on the left wing, even though I absolutely love Rashford. Sometimes you've got to make big decisions just to make people realise you've got to work really hard to be in this team and you've got to perform every single week. Again, he goes with the team, majority of the team he always goes with, bar Fred and bar Greenwood because of COVID. And again, you get the same performance week in, week out. And for me, it was worse than City and worse than Liverpool because it was so passive. It was horrendous and nothing improved. Nothing. Watford could have scored about 6 today. About 6. And yes, he had to make substitutions at half time. But you look at that and I thought to myself, it's like Ollie's playing a game in his head. How long can I go being this stubborn and get away with it for? How long can I do that? At half time, he thought to himself, I'm going to lose my job here. I'm going to lose my job. So Van der Beek comes on he's only played 15 minutes this season. So, he's not game sharp. He comes onto the pitch and he's man of the match within 10 minutes. He's man of the match in 10 minutes. And that is a player that was giving everything, had the motivation to go out there. And that's how every single player should be going out every single week, wanting to win, wanting to prove themselves, wanting to put in a good performance for Manchester United. And you know what? He needs to build strength to play in the pivot. He was getting stuck into tackles and he looked stronger than I've seen Fred all season. I'm not comparing, I am comparing because they're playing the same position in the midfield. And one gets picked every week and has been in terrible form. And one comes onto the pitch after barely getting any game time. So no Manchester United fans can criticise the lack of play time he's getting because we don't know how good he is. He comes on, he gets 45 minutes and he's the best player on the pitch. He should have had 2 assists. I think it was 2, maybe one was offside from Ronaldo, that Ronaldo should have scored. He was getting about the pitch. He was doing his defensive work as well as making runs into the box. He scored a goal, our only header this season. His goal anticipation, his anticipation and awareness for me is I think it's one of the best in our team. And I might be getting too ahead of myself, but I've only just seen him play 45 minutes of Premier League football today. And his IQ is him and Sancho are on a little bit the same level. They know where they need to be in the box. Ronaldo's got that as well, and so is Edison Cavani. Bruno as well, but he's again been looking lost the last few weeks because I feel like he's trying to do so much for the team and it's kind of bringing down his own performance because he doesn't know what he should be doing. Again, he's not been well drilled, but Donny van der Beek, he's making runs, he's putting through balls in, he's doing everything we wanted our midfield to do. Get tackles in, do your defensive work, be positionally aware, put balls through the midfield from defence to attack, done that. And if possible, icing on the cake, if you're in the pivot role, get into the box and get your goal. And he did all of that today. And if Ollie is still in charge, which I have no idea in my brain how he can still be in charge for the next game, if Donny doesn't start, then that for me is that is like genuinely, that is like a personal agenda. So far, I still think it is a little bit of a personal agenda and a little bit of stubbornness because he doesn't want to get shown up. But if Donny does not start the next game and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in charge, that is personal agenda to me because there is no excuses. So I've seen the other day, why is no one complaining that Hakim Ziyech isn't playing, but everyone's complaining Donny van der Beek is playing. First of all, Chelsea are top of the league. Second of all, they've got great players in his position. I said fighting for mid-table and people are laughing mid-table. Fighting for mid-table, got relegation form. Our midfield's been terrible all season and Donny van der Beek cannot get into that team. That is the difference. And moving on to Maguire, I mean, I didn't want to give him loads of stick because everyone's giving him loads of stick. But what do you expect when you come out against Albania, giving it that celebration, trying to shut down your critics? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coming out defending you in his pre-match thing, saying Maguire's going to pre-match interview, saying Maguire's going to prove people wrong today. Your team gets a goal back after playing terribly. He's basically at fault for the second goal. I think I'd say he was at fault for the second goal because he wasn't closing down. And then he goes and gets himself sent off when your team has a chance to get into it. And then you end up getting 3 more stuck past you. It could have been seriously embarrassing today for us. And for me, it's just how this can go on. The players clearly aren't involved in the process. The manager's clearly going game by game and it's just not working out for him. And for me, it's just like, why didn't you make this change in this international week? And it's a sad situation. I don't want to see my team go out and lose and never mind play horrendously every week. It's embarrassing for us. It's embarrassing for them. And the fact that Conte was sat there waiting for a phone call and Manchester United never even bothered to ring up the phone just shows the incompetence of this board and the Glazers. A lot of people at fault. Ole and his coaching staff aren't good enough. The Glazers should have made this decision weeks ago. I feel a bit sorry for Ole. He's a dead man walking. He's so out of his depth. And I feel sorry for the players because they should be achieving a lot more than they are under this coach and under this manager. And if another manager comes in and it all changes around quickly, we'll know why. I still think the players should be putting in a little bit more effort. It was so passive. But guys, we expect it now every week. And we've got Villarreal coming up, which will be a hard game. We've got Chelsea coming up. And do you know what? I just hope Ole isn't in charge anymore because we have a chance to win them games if we make the move now. If not, it's just going to be a downhill slope until it's going to get seriously, seriously ugly. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Put your comments below, rant all you want, and I'll try and look at a few. And I'll see you on the next one. I'll see you throughout the week. But bye, guys.